Hello, welcome to this week's edition of The Filter, which is part of the SEO Untitled podcast. Yeah, I got those words roughly in the right order. Now, remember, I'm not going to give you the links to the articles I'm going to discuss in the show notes or in the video description, depending on how you're absorbing this. To get those, you have to subscribe to The Filter, which you can do by going to yeseo.io/The Filter. On to the first story of the week. Google stresses the need to really check things if you're using AI to generate content. Now, I've put this in there because the general message from almost everyone in SEO is don't generate AI content. And I back that up, but the actual truth is a lot more nuanced. So I put this article in because it's written by Google, or it's a bit of content focused on Google, and it's them using their own AI content generation during a podcast, and essentially they look at their own output and go, well, that's wrong. So Google stresses the need to fact check. I stress the need to, well, don't just go to ChatGPT and whatever and say, write me an article. There's more to it. Say it's nuanced because it's SEO, but don't say write an article and press go. Just don't. So, next story, how to create a social media strategy. I've included this because one of the drums I've been beating for many years is that a lot of businesses use social media as a foghorn. They're just yelling messages out, and you're never going to get much from it. I mean, increasingly so, if you're not interacting with other accounts, you're just going to end up like the little lonely beast who no one's listening to. But Semrush write really good articles, and this is a good article about strategy. Right, final story, short but sweet this week. Backlinks. How much do you know about backlinks? Do you know your no follow from your elbow? I was quite pleased with that line when I wrote it on the script. If you've always wondered what backlinks are and why people go on about them so much, this article breaks down what the different types of backlinks are, which ones we like, which ones we don't like. It's just a good bit of education. If you know nothing about backlinks, this is the article for you. If you really understand your backlinks, I'd still recommend just having a whiz through. Just have a click through, because Semrush has an ability to raise things in their articles that other people don't. And also, there might be a few things you might have forgotten. SEO is about constant education. So there you go. Thank you for listening to or watching or reading this edition of The Filter. The Filter will be back next week, and the podcast will be back, I don't know when you're listening to this, the next day probably. So thanks for that, and I will see you again soon. Bye.